us where we are in the tape position, okay? The second one is our locate position. This window tells us where do we want to go to? Where do we want to locate to, right? So if we say that so let's do this. We have our two positions. We have two resets here, so we can reset each of these where you see them now at 0, okay? If you see 20 and then the little dot was flashing, the flashing dot means that it's negative. So we were negative 20 seconds on that tape reel from where it was on the other reel. But that's because I've got 20 seconds of leader on this, whereas the other reel I had on earlier of JJ's had no leader tape. So that's why when I got it back to the beginning, it's negative 20 seconds of tape. Okay? So I reset both of these. That allows me to reset these counters. The tape position, now that we know we're at the beginning of this reel, okay, which we can see, whoops, okay, so we're at the beginning of the reel, 0. So this window here, generally, as a golden rule, never reset it other than when you start and put the reel on, okay? Because if I go to 20 seconds, right? And I go, oh, okay, I want to reset this. So this is my 0. Well, is it actually my 0 on the tape? No, it's 22 seconds in on the tape, isn't it? So I just reset my 0 to a new spot. So all my counter positions on paper are going to be out by, if I said my first chorus was at 1 minute, well, technically it's at 40 minutes now, right? Because it's less 20 minutes, or 20 seconds, I mean, sorry. You get what I'm saying? So let's just do this. We're going to rewind backwards. We should be close. There we are. Okay, see it at the beginning there? We were 26 seconds. You can see the dot down below here. You have to kind of get right on it. Whoops, shit. Stop. Sorry guys, I hit the stop button by accident. You'll see it flashing here. See the little dot flashing, right? So that means it's negative, right? So, but I'm going to reset this. So now it's at the beginning of the tape. So this is our tape position. This is going to stay because as we're shuttling back and forth, it's going to tell us, are we a minute in, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 40 seconds? Where are we on the tape? So everything time-wise is going to be calibrated with this meter. So if I say I want to go ahead 20 seconds, well, I can use this blue locate button. So I can go over here and go 2, 0. These buttons are a little finicky. They're old, okay? So a quick, firm push and release. Otherwise, the 3 is really bad. You'll get just me touching it. I got 4 3s in a row, okay? So 2, 2, 0, okay? So I've set it, and I want to go ahead 20 seconds. So I'm just going to set it in my locate window, which means when I press locate, it's going to say take my tape position, which is at 0 now, and go 20 seconds ahead in the song. I'm going to hit locate, and it's going to go ahead 20 seconds. Okay? And then it's going to stop. Right about now. Right? So we can see that worked. Pretty cool, right? Hence, Pro Tools, locate. My cursor, press play. Well, that's instantaneous. Here, you can actually in Pro Tools set your transport to dynamic, and that means it'll run like a tape machine. When you press rewind, it'll do this and speed up, and then slow down and stop. For those of us early in the game, more the older school, I was kind of new school guy in the old school game. I got used to that at the gate, but for some of the older guys, they were like, oh, this is weird, man. I just pressed and it's right there. They're used to all this rewind fast forward time, right? So, and everything was based off this, right? So we're at 20 seconds. So if I want to go back to the beginning again at 0, well, I can either just type in 0 or just reset and hit locate, and it'll take it back to the beginning of the reel again, right? I'm going to stop here. 20 seconds, or 10 seconds, I mean. Let's say I want this to be the beginning of the verse, okay? So I can store this into this window by either typing in 10 or whatever's in this window. If I hit this little blue arrow to the right, it's going to take what's in this window and stick it in the locate position. Watch. Boom. Done. Okay? Now the cool part about this is, as I'm playing and we're going along in the song, right? I can hit that blue button and it's going to put in the counter of right where that was, so I can go, oh wait, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the verse, or the beginning of the chorus, whatever the section is, right? So I can store that in there and it'll stop. Now, I can also set storage presets in this. So I can set this as 1 may be the beginning of the song, 2 is the first verse, 3 is the chorus, 4 is the whatever, right? Any memory locates I want to put in here, I can do that, and then all I have to do is recall. So I can do store 1. Now, because these buttons are finicky and they don't work sometimes, what I usually do is do a recall 1 and see, oh, the number's still the same, that means it worked, okay? So I could play forward, right? And then I could just do locate to 1. Let's say, let's say I was over here now in 19. Because I stored 1, I want to do recall 1. See, it went back to 15. So it's saying, oh, just call up what was stored in 1. So now that's locate 1. Let's say I go forward here and I play, and I'm playing along the song, and I want to do a second one. I'll stop and I can do store 2, recall 2. No, it didn't store. Oh, hang on, sorry. I'm going to shift this one over. 26 seconds, store 2, recall 2. Yeah, it stored it. So I can now do a recall 1, takes me to 15, or I can do a recall 2, takes me to 26. So this is how I can preset some markers, locate markers in my system. And that's where locate markers in Pro Tools came from here. Okay? So I can do the same thing here. If, let's say, I want to go ahead and I'm going to do 30 seconds. Now, 8 and 9 can be used independently, but I can also create a loop with them. So I'm going to do store 8. I'm going to recall 8. Yep, it recalled it. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 35. See how touchy 3 is? 35, and I'm going to do store 9. Recall 9 just to make sure it worked, right? So that worked. So I got recall 8, which is 30, and I have recall 9, which is 35. So this works only in 8 and 9. I can now press repeat. You can see a little repeat into the box, plus repeat. It's going to go to, tells it to go to locate 8, which is the end start point. It starts playing. It's going to play for 5 seconds. It's going to stop now, and it's going to rewind again and go back to 30 seconds again. Then it's going to play now. You see it play, right? And it's going to go to my recall, my locate 9, which was 35, and it'll keep doing this all day long. Okay? Cool? So, that's how that works. Now, I say, oh, I want to go back to the beginning again. Well, I can just zero that out and press locate, and it'll go back to the beginning of the tape again. Right? Does that make sense so far, guys, all these? Okay. This little mode button here was our fixed or variable that we set over there. Make sure it's always on fixed. This is where you can get into a world of hurt, because if you hit that button by accident and go, oh, mode, yeah, I want to be master, wasn't that mode? And now you start recording. This is the vary speed. You're not going to be fixed at 15 or 30 inches per second locked. It's going to be somewhere slower or faster, depending on where this vary speed knob is. Okay? So always make sure this is green and on fixed. Okay? You guys all see that?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, don't worry about the TVI button. This is just a variable end as well in the transport, so we don't need to worry about it. Then I'm going to come down here and we'll talk about our master modes buttons here. So tape is the playback repro head. So if I want to transfer something in the best possible quality from the tape machine to Pro Tools, or let's say I'm just mixing off the tape machine, I want to be in that playback head or that repro head, right? That's what I want to be on. So tape is the selector for that, okay? Input lets us input all of these channels, which you can see on the tape machine right now. They're all lit up in blue, which means that every one of them is basically on direct input, right? In Pro Tools, when you hit the green I button, that puts them all into listen to input always mode, right? That's where it came from, this tape machine, input mode. So if we're getting levels and checking and getting the band going, we can just put this in input mode so that all of our channels will then flow through, the signal will come through the input, out the output card, the cue card, and then back in here so we can hear what's happening, right? Or more importantly, and more commonly, we go to our auto input mode. So our auto mode, this represents why we say auto represents auto input, right? Our record ready, right? So this is where it came from again in Pro Tools with the record ready. What the black button here is our record ready buttons on each channel. So when I push this down, you'll see that it turns yellow. Over there, you'll see that it's blue. Don't know why we couldn't get the colors coordinated the same, but the point being is those 4 tracks now are in record ready mode. We've armed them here, so the moment I press record, it is going to record those tracks only. Okay? Same way it is in Pro Tools, right? Again, direct replication, right? So, this, while it's in standby mode, is listening to the input, correct? Same as in Pro Tools. When we press play, what's it going to listen to?
Record ready tracks.
Eh?
Record ready tracks.
It's going to listen to the playback of whatever's on the track, right? So we're not going to hear the input anymore. Same way it is in Pro Tools. When you press play, the record ready's on, but you press play, it's playing back what you've already recorded in there. If there's nothing been recorded yet, it's playing back silence, right? The moment we press record, it now goes, oh, here's your input, and we start to hear what we're recording again, right? And once again, why do we want this? Well, if we've already recorded a take and we're punching it in, we have the record readies on, we press play, and we want to hear what we already played so we can play along with it. And then once we punch the record button, punch in, oh, it is recording. The light's not working. We press record to work that it's working, right? So now I'm hearing what I'm playing because it's listening to the input again, right? The moment I press play and punch out of record, which we see it went back now. Now I'm hearing what was already recorded on the tape again. Right? Makes sense? Hence our auto input. This is where it worked from. So, but now I'm not hearing anything but what's playing back. I don't hear what I'm playing right now because it's not recording. The moment I press stop, it's on standby. The transport stops. The playback stops playing back, and now it's listening to the input again and listening to what I'm playing. Are we clear on this? Any questions? Anybody not understand this? We're cool? Okay, so we get all that, right? So that basically deals with these. This auto is our sync record head, right? So it allows us to hear what's going on. This button here, the gray buttons, when we're in the tape mode, this allows us to turn on the cues so we can hear what's coming in and or recording in the tape head mode. So if I start playing here and then I press the record button, oh, hang on, I gotta do a record ready here too, sorry. And I press record here, now we can see that I'm hearing it back here and it's playing. But I'm gonna have a latency in this. So we don't generally record off the record head or the playback while we're in tape mode. You can record, but you're gonna hear that latency where it's gonna be like literally ka, 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 right? Because the timeline at 30 inches per second, or at 15 inches per second, the time that it takes to be recorded to go by the playback head is roughly about 127 milliseconds. So there's a fair bit of delay there. You can't play along with that. That's why we always use the auto head, or the sync playback head, which is auto mode, right? Which allows us to hear, because it's sending that input and record back out that cue card, that output, so we can hear it instantaneously. But it's not the best quality going once we've recorded it with the best head, the record head. That's when we then go, okay, we recorded this, sounds awesome, let's go to the tape repro head and let's transfer that in its best quality back to Pro Tools. Or we want to mix in this state as we're mixing the song from the tape. Let's say we keep it all on tape. This is what mode we used to be in to mix the song. Is this making sense, guys? We cool? Okay, so that basically goes through all the functionality here of the machine and the remote. Now we can go back to 0 here by reset there, locate back. It's going to bring us back to the front end of the reel of that tape machine.